What's up, what's going on, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the blog post that was released today, going into what's to come for Season 3 of DMZ. Now, they did say that there would be another blog post closer to the release of Season 3 with more intel on this, but we can expect a little bit of an overhaul, including a barter system, workbench, and more. All right, so there are a couple of new things coming to DMZ with Season 3, and one thing I do want to mention right out the gate here is I do not believe we will be getting a mission reset, and all of the factions or your progress at this point will still continue on to Season 3. Now, it's not going to say that we won't get more missions, but there will not be a wipe. But let's go ahead and dive into it here. So first thing we're going to be talking about is the barter system. Now, the barter system is going to be new to DMZ, of course. It's going to work similar to how a shop would work. One of the biggest additions since the launch of DMZ is the barter system, a way to award operators who stock up on items and can reach a buy station to swap them for other valuables. In general, the trader may not have what you want, they will always have what you need. There is no peer-to-peer trading through this system, but of course you are still free to swap items during a match with friendly operators, especially those who operate the taxi services, as we've heard that they are extremely helpful. What this sounds like is it's not going to be like your traditional buy station where you walk up to it, you open it up, and you're going to be using the money in order to exchange items. You may actually need to bring certain valuables or certain items to the trader and swap them for whatever else that you are looking for. Now, it sounds like this is going to be the way that you're going to be able to get certain items. This could be a really fun way to go about this. I do wonder if there's going to be any sort of reputation system or anything like that, or if there's going to be different ones for different factions. Across the board, this sounds like a great system, and I'm kind of looking forward to it and seeing how it kind of develops. Next, we do have the workbench. Now, the workbench is going to be something a little bit different. I think we kind of all have been asking for something like this to be implemented into DMZ, kind of just make the experience a little bit better. Another major addition to DMZ is this workbench, which can be found near buy stations and allows you to modify contraband weapons. For a nominal cash fee, the workbench allows an operator to add attachments they have unlocked for the contraband weapons platform onto a piece of contraband or remove them piece by piece. So it sounds like when you go up to the workbench, you will be able to attach new attachments to the weapon or remove ones that you do not want, as long as you have them unlocked for that weapon. So I'm assuming that means you're going to have leveled up the weapons that you are going to take to the workbench in order to be able to attach any of the attachments. That could be kind of a hindering thing for some of you. You guys are going to probably have to go out there and level up your guns in order to be able to take full advantage of this. Helpful for those times when a 5x5 scope does not fit a fast-firing SMG, or when a sniper rifle could use that extended magazine. The workbench will become another way to spend that hard-earned cash on something impactful for that infiltration and beyond. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see what the cost of adding the attachments is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to go up based on the amount of attachments that you choose to add, and I'm assuming that there's going to be a limitation to 5 attachments as well. It's going to be cool to see how this kind of gets implemented into the game, and it will be nice to actually have more use for the contraband weapons, and of course, you'll be able to change the attachments that you have on them, and I'm assuming you will exfil with those and keep them in your contraband. So you could essentially build a contraband weapon that is customized just by doing this by using the workbench, which is kind of cool. Now, obviously, there is a loophole right now with the bug that you are allowed to basically just continuously duplicate your weapon and putting them into your contraband. But let's just put that to a side and pretend like that's not currently in existence, because eventually it could get fixed. All right, next up, we have a very interesting addition, which I did not see coming, and it is kind of in a way something we have been asking for. It's going to be the active duty operator slots. Now, in Season 3, you won't just have one operator to infiltrate the deniable areas. Every player will start with 3 active duty operator slots, which equates to having 3 separate operators who have their own on-soldier items. These items include your backpack, plate carrier, kill streaks, self-revive, and gas mask. For every infiltration, you can choose which active duty operator you bring in, meaning that you can calculate risk to whatever missions you want to tackle or the type of experience you want to have for that match. For example, you can have one active duty operator saved up for the majority of the story missions and Building 21 runs, stacked up with a 3-plater self-revive kit and more, and then have another one that is just built for scavenging items with nothing but a 1 plate to their name. So it sounds like what you're going to want to do is you'll select an operator. Let's say you go in, you get a 3-plater, you get your kill streak, you're on an exfil streak even, you get your self-revive, you then exfil. You guys can choose to select another profile or another operator profile, which would then have a 0 plate or a 1 plate, obviously not have any of the streaks or the self-revive or whatever, and you guys would basically keep that other one saved for a future run. So it is a way to basically have separate operators or operator profiles where you can go in and gear them up or set them up. So you could essentially gear up all 3 of your profiles if you would want, and then you can go in 3 different times, and whether or not you lose something in a run, you guys will still be able to kind of get a redemption. This would definitely make going for those harder missions significantly easier, especially because you would have 3 profiles that you could fully suit up and then get 3 perfect attempts at trying to go in fully geared. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this continues to develop, and it does seem like this is actually going to expand. I think you will have more than 3. I don't know what the limitations are going to be. I think this is an interesting addition. Now, it's nice to see them add an out of the game system that is a little bit more balanced, so you will be able to obviously build up a little bit for your character. You don't have to introduce an entire economy in order to do this. You guys are just going to select your operators, choose to gear them up at your own will. Like they said, you could choose one for story, or you guys could just choose to have one guy that's a one-plater. I do actually think it's pretty cool that they've implemented something outside of the matches that allows you to kind of build up or give yourself some sort of preparation for future runs. Biggest complaint I've seen from some people is not being able to store your 3-platers or be able to store your self-revives and choose when you want to go in with those items. This will kind of give us more freedom to do that by having the different individual operator profiles. Next up, we're going to have the new faction. Now, I don't know if this comes to a surprise to you guys, and it doesn't really say whether it's going to be free to play, whether you're going to have purchase the game, or whether it's even going to be relative to the new Battle Pass Black Cell that we've seen for Season 3. Now, this faction is still unknown, is known as Redacted. It's coming in Season 3 and will have 3 of its own mission tiers available at launch. So what they're saying is, I think there will be 5 total tiers for this faction. However, at the launch of Season 3, we will only get access to 1, 2, and 3. We will have to wait until the Reloaded or mid-season update to get access to the later ones, 4 and 5, and possibly others beyond that. There's going to be new and remixed missions alongside a new contract. Infinity Ward is introducing a new set of faction missions for this upcoming season, as well as a new contract. That is the Secure Supplies contract, which flags containers in the exclusion zone with essential gear for this experience. This is a great way to get your operator built up after a previous run in DMZ where you might have failed to extract. So I don't know if they mean by remix missions if they're going to make any changes to the current missions in existence. As we already know, or basically they said before, there wouldn't be a seasonal wipe, so you guys wouldn't be set back to tier 1. But it makes me wonder if they're going to do any changes to people's missions that have yet to complete them, or if this is just referring to the new faction, which will have its own set into tiers and missions to complete. So I'm kind of going to bank on the fact that they are adding new faction and the new missions with that, and they're not going to be actually doing anything to the current factions unless they're going to add tiers beyond tier 5. I just don't see happening. Next up, we're going to have new bosses. Now, it doesn't actually tell us what we can expect for sure, but it gives us a rough idea. Operators should prepare to face new threats across the various exclusion zones, as there are not 1, but 2 bosses that Intel suggests are redacted. Intel also suggests that deep underground in Al Mazrah there is redacted. We have plenty more to share as a part of a dedicated DMZ blog to be released before Season 3's launch, including new backpack and new plate carrier types. So it sounds like we're going to get some new armor vests or plate carriers. We're going to get new backpacks. It seems like there's a lot to come for DMZ in Season 3, even though we're not getting faction resets or mission resets. I think we have a ton to look forward to, and I know I'm personally pretty excited. But that's going to wrap things up for the blog post for today. There's a lot to come for DMZ. There's a lot to come in the next blog post, and Season 3 is almost here. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.